Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's Q&A. Our topic today is not one that is generally looked at as fun. Oftentimes it's stressful, can be emotional, costly, and that is moving. But like every other life event, it's the people and the team behind you that can make the difference between a disaster and a seamless experience. And moving really is no different. I know for me, I've had a first-class moving experience, and it was worth every penny, and I will never go back to the days of moving myself or recruiting a handful of friends and giving them pizza and beer. Those days are long gone. So speaking of first-class moving companies, today our guest is Austin with Central Coast Moving. Austin, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome for having me.
Absolutely. So why don't we start, Rod? Why don't you share with us about Central Coast Moving? How long have you been in business? What kind of services do you offer to your clients?
Yeah, great question. So it actually started in my introduction to the industry started in college in Northern California. I was going to school and was really looking for a job that kind of helped me put myself through college. And, along came the moving industry, and I loved it. Everyone was super hardworking. There's a lot of responsibility and leadership, which I really enjoyed. And I was actually going to school for business at the time. So I was able to connect that with my classes, my professional skills, as well as my professional education. And, I was able to take, a lot from it. So I started the business in 2017. We relocated to Paso Robles in 2018. We specialize now in professional packing, on-site loading, like for U-Haul pods, anything in between, local and long distance moving. We've really catered to the client's needs and customer service, as well as commercial moving and traditional storage. And then our newest service that we've been offering for the last year, that now we have 60 mobile storage unit containers. So there are two options, a 16-foot and a 20-foot container. As you can see, one of them, behind me here in the photo, that they're beautiful containers, and they're offering a lot of value for clients.
Awesome. Okay, so if you do Google search for moving company, which I heard you were ranked number 1 on Google based on reviews, so congratulations on that. But people have options. So what sets Central Coast Moving apart from the competition?
That's a great question too. So, I always encourage, clients to get, a few different options. And that, that's just leads into our number one goal is transparency. We want to make sure it's a good fit for both parties. Whether we're not or we are, we'll point you in the right direction because there's value to be given. From the estimate to the quality of service on move day, and just being upfront from the beginning, and not going over like, a 4-hour minimum when we know it's going to be 6. I would rather just build that trust from the get-go. Communicating like what it's actually going to be like. Basically, our teams, we actually have a really great CRM for moving. It allows us to use our, feedback from the clients and input there. Either my office manager, operations manager, anyone talking to them actually can input it into the logistics form for the crew notes on move day. And we actually have a full thread of photos, emails, and text. It just keeps it all encompassed in the same software.
Right.
I have a business consultant that I worked with on our mantra, like, what is Central Coast? And so we, filed it down to an innovative business that focuses on peace of mind. And I would say that everything that we do, we want to be innovative and then offer peace of from the moving to the storage side of this business. We also, our customer service is, I would say second to none. Our number one core value with this business that we have in the office and the warehouse is the grandson rule. And that's to treat every client with kindness and respect like you would your grandparents.
Love it.
And, I always envisioned like Hoover as the golden grandson. Or granddaughter. But, like when a client is like, wow, I wish my grandson was like that, or from start to finish, it just makes the process easier when they feel strangers in their home they can trust. This is their, high value items that, that have been with them their whole lives.
Absolutely.
And as you touched on, our reputation here, from accidents do happen, dressers, floors, fender benders, and that's what, any business.
Right.
And our reputation, is number one to us. And so, we train the whole team from day one to go above and beyond, as the long-term relationships are most important. In the short term, it may hurt the wallet a little bit to, fix a floor, fix a dresser, but, doing the right thing is the most important thing, because down the road, we look at every client or real estate agent like a 10x referral system, and, that's important to us. And then, finally, could just touch on the customization that we offer. One thing that's special about us that you won't actually see in most other moving companies in SLO County or, other counties is the custom ramp options. So, on every moving truck, we carry a door ramp to get in and out of the home. It protects the floor, as well as the access to the home. And then our moving trucks have usually lift gates or side doors.
Okay.
So the most efficient path to the house, shaving, seconds off every trip is extremely important.
Yep.
We have a plethora of ramps, ranging from 12-foot, 7-foot, 10-foot to 3-foot ramps, as well as, like I said, those doorway ramps. And, when you're doing 6 movers doing 100 trips, like about a second or two actually adds up.
Right.
It's very helpful for the clients.
Absolutely.
And the movers.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure.
So, to kind of summarize, transparency, communication, customer service, our reputation, and just the customization is really what makes Central Coast Moving special for, our clientele.
Excellent. Yes. Okay, so let's roll through some frequently asked questions that I know and I had before my first moving experience, and that my clients have asked. So what happens when a buyer or seller's under contract and we get those dreaded words, we're canceling escrow, and it's not savable, and it is what it is. So what happens as far as the scheduled move under those circumstances?
Great question. So this does actually happen more than you'd think. I would say probably 1 to 3 times a month. And what we advise our clients is just keep the line of communication open as much as possible. We're able to avoid like a 4-day cancellation policy that we have. That's just because we're not able to, book another move in its place. But,
right.
When escrows fall out, it's kind of traumatic experience. And,
right.
We've actually found that our mobile storage has helped a lot of clients where it's like, well, my house is selling, but I can't get into the new house. We can switch from a moving truck to these mobile storage containers and drop off a few of those the day before, and our team just loads them right up. We can store them and then deliver them, whenever needed, and you're cutting out a lot of extra, billable time for the clients, and so it's extremely efficient. We understand, inconvenient situations, and we like to be an overall resource. So our goal isn't to take a deposit or anything like that. It's to keep our team busy and give clients the best service we can. So when escrows do close, I would just say, communication is key.
Yep.
Whichever services you're working with, that, communicating what needs to happen and how can we work together.
Well, it sounds like the mobile storage is pretty game changing in a lot of these cases, I would imagine. That's nice to have that option.
Definitely. I mean, our goal right now, we have 60 mobile storage containers. It's just kind of educating the community about the offering that we're doing now. It's very similar to pods. So if you're familiar with that business model, that it's a flat delivery and then a flat pickup, so it's not getting tilted like a cargo container, a sea container.
Okay.
And so we've actually done some tests, to see like how well it works, and I haven't seen anything shift into a load that's been done after I've checked, and I've gone at least over each container. That's at least 10 examples.
Okay, so how far in advance should people plan to schedule their move?
So I always say, communication is key. It is recommended during the winter months and kind of moving companies slower seasons for industry. 2 weeks minimum is what I recommend. And then during kind of spring, summer, fall, I recommend, at least a month. That way, it's not just for the moving company to prepare and have the date available. It's for the client to get in the mindset like, look, I need to purge, I need to organize, and I need to pack if that's what I want to do myself, or have a moving company come in. The key to a safe and efficient move that's stress-free as possible is preparation. As far as, try to get the ball rolling, get those estimates, because it probably takes about a week to go through them.
Right.
We try to give estimates on give the price. So, we can help the client and get the move scheduled as soon as possible. But yeah, give yourself, 2 weeks prior at least to book the move. But I would say, an extra week just to get quotes. If that's what they're doing.
That seems fair. So is there anything that you guys cannot move from a property?
This is actually really important. Knowing what we can't move, it's funny because there's slightly different rules going interstate rather than intrastate. And what that means is inside of California versus going outside of California. There's some agricultural laws. So plants are a no-go going outside of California.
Okay.
And then as well as everything that's not supposed to be moved inside of California. Different movers will give you different answers, but the way, through the Bureau of Household Goods, we're not supposed to move combustible liquids, corrosive acids, like flammables, anything explosive, ammunition. I always recommend clients take that themselves. Compressed gases, like aerosols, things like that. And then since we're in Paso, we really, stress the wine. Although it's, you can transport it. We just made it a rule company-wide that we don't transport the wine or, alcohol. And the wine can spoil if it reaches a certain temperature. Right. And most of our clients are pretty aware of that as well. And, they understand that our intentions are in the right spot. But, so usually if it's a question whether they can move it or not, I would assume they can. And then, either Google it real quick through the Bureau of Household Goods, or just reach out, that SMS phone number or that we have. Office is always there for questions.
Okay. So as you mentioned, you're carrying people's valuable goods, sometimes highly valuable, but regardless, it's very meaningful to them and things do happen on the road or during a move. So what kind of insurance do you guys offer to your clients to protect their valuables in those situations?
So this is a great topic because we get asked this, by most clients. Although it's kind of coined the term insurance, it's actually not insurance. It's called technically valuation because we are not insurance companies. And I try to make this, clear. We actually have a document on all of our estimates, understanding valuation. Basically, California regulates 4 different options that moving companies have to provide and have to go over with clients. So the first one is the free option. It's 60 cents per pound. Basically, an example of this would be a chair that weighs 10 pounds. Moving companies are regulated to offer this option, which would be the $500 deductible. So this is where a client would cover the first $500 of damage, and then the company's responsible for the rest, up to the amount of value of the shipment. So this would be 32 cents per $100 declared value. And I'm going to go into a little bit explanation of the calculation on that and how we do it. And the next option would be the $250 deductible. So essentially, after the $250, moving company would cover the rest, and that is at 57 cents per $100 of declared value. And then full value protection, which is $1.82 for every declared value, for every $100 declared value. So every truck has a minimum value shipment of $10,000.
Okay.
So whatever's in it, that's how much that the moving companies have to cover, and that's how the deductibles and pricing is the base level.
Okay.
The calculation that most moving companies use is $6 of value per pound. So let's say your shipment weighs 10,000 pounds. That would equate to $60,000 of declared value. So this is something the client chooses what they want the declared value wise. So like if they only wanted $30 of coverage or $30,000 of coverage, then basically it's a math equation to calculate how much the cost would be. Our software actually calculates that live for clients, as well as we have an Excel sheet for our sales team.
Okay.
Just give like quick, what if this,
Right.
type of questions. And then lastly, we call this the Central Coast Moving Peace of Mind coverage. So this is not regulated by the Bureau of Household Goods, but it is something that we just felt we wanted a more robust option for clients that didn't exactly want to go with the full evaluation protection. And so basically it's only $100, and this limits the liability up to $1,000. So it costs the client $100 and they get up to $1,000 of coverage. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's like, for example, a dresser gets a damage to it. And this just ensures that, it gets handled professionally or replaced and, at a very reasonable cost. We found that this industry doesn't, regulate us to take care of clients as much as we'd like. And this is just a very effective strategy for a more robust valuation that, on top of the 60 cents per pound per article. So again, it is the free one and then the $100 peace of mind coverage.
Excellent. So is there anything else about Central Coast Moving Company that you would like us to know?
Yeah, Central Coast Moving and Storage, your local neighborhood moving company. We're located in Paso Robles, California. We specialize everything moving related and, really here to, bring the, value to our clients. My goal of starting this business was basically to create a workplace where employees enjoyed coming to work. And, I felt there was actually no licensed, legitimate moving company in the North County. And now, we're actually the only licensed moving company in the North County. I always urge clients to do their research on movers. There's a few out there right now that are acting and pricing like legitimate companies, but, they're not going to have the workers' comp, general liability, cargo insurance. That's really important.
That's scary.
It is scary, and then like as a real estate agent, referring someone that you know that about is scary too.
Absolutely.
And so, my general manager, Jay, he's actually co-president of the California Moving and Storage Association for our Central Coast chapter. So, we're encouraging, regulation just to make sure that your clients are as safe as possible. And to kind of summarize, our tagline is, we treat moving like a craft, employees like family, and our clients like our neighbors. And I'd like to say we stay true to that.
Excellent. So we see your phone number there. If people want to get in touch with you, is your website the one-stop shop, the best place for people to go to get their questions answered?
Yeah, we actually have a few different phone numbers out there. You'll see like on, our Kennedy Club Fitness, ads and things like that. It's just for tracking purposes. So you see a different number than the one on the container. It all goes to the moving office. I would say online is super efficient to just send in your information. We have sales team members, that can get you a quote as soon as possible and at least a rough idea of what the moving cost would be. But yeah, online is usually the most efficient way, but, also a phone call if you have time for it.
Okay.
We get all the information we need and can set up an on-site estimate right then and there.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing about your business with us. Thank you guys all for watching, and we will see you on the next one.